In the small, fog-shrouded town of Black Hollow, the old slaughterhouse had long been abandoned. Its walls, once echoing with the sounds of livestock, now stood silent and foreboding. For decades, it had been left to decay, a relic of the town's grisly past. The townspeople whispered about the place, sharing stories of strange lights and eerie sounds that emanated from within. No one dared to venture close, especially after dark. They spoke in hushed tones about the butcher of the dead, a sinister figure said to haunt the slaughterhouse, feeding on the souls of the unwary. It all began when John Miller, a young journalist from the city, arrived in Black Hollow. He had heard the tales and was determined to uncover the truth. Armed with a camera and a notepad, John set out to document the stories, believing them to be nothing more than local legends. One cold, moonless night, John made his way to the slaughterhouse. The air was thick with an unsettling silence, and a chill ran down his spine as he approached the rusted gates. Ignoring his growing sense of dread, he pushed them open and stepped inside. The interior was even more dilapidated than he had imagined. Broken tools and rotting wood littered the floor, and the stench of decay was overwhelming. As John ventured deeper, he felt an oppressive darkness closing in around him. He raised his flashlight, its weak beam cutting through the gloom, and continued on. Suddenly, a cold wind swept through the building, extinguishing his light. John's heart pounded as he fumbled to relight it. When the beam flickered back to life, he saw them. Eyes, countless pairs of glowing, malevolent eyes staring at him from the shadows. Paralyzed with fear, John stumbled backwards, tripping over debris. A low, guttural growl echoed through the room, followed by the sound of heavy footsteps. He turned to see a figure emerging from the darkness, a towering man, clad in a blood-stained butcher's apron, his face obscured by a grotesque mask made of stitched human skin. The butcher of the dead. John's breath caught in his throat as he realized the stories were true. The figure advanced slowly, a massive cleaver glinting in his hand. Desperate, John scrambled to his feet and ran, the butcher's chilling laughter ringing in his ears. He darted through the labyrinthine hallways, the butcher's heavy footsteps never far behind. Just as he thought he had lost him, John found himself in a dead-end room. The walls were lined with hooks, and from them hung the decomposed bodies of those who had ventured here before him. The doors slammed shut, and John whirled around to see the butcher standing in the doorway. With no escape, he braced himself for the end. But instead of striking, the butcher spoke, his voice a raspy whisper. "Welcome to my domain. Your soul will join the others." With that, the butcher lunged, and the last thing John saw was the gleaming edge of the cleaver descending.